Alright, we are live here with the ROX Mods. And we got a pretty good race here set today. We are on the biggest, meanest, fastest road course on the schedule, Utah Motorsports Campus. It is about a 5-mile long race course. A lot of cars to fill up the field, although it might feel empty at one point. We'll have to see. We got cars ranging in a new Fox body pace car driven by T7 Jaco, though currently Lake Pond Trout. Twin V6 going to be in the field. Mitch. Mr. Monaco making a return in the American Ferrari East 951, the 951 machine. Jason Dady in the 20, the 99. That is Luis. He had a podium on his debut race last weekend. Gohan operating the 26 Rebel 26 machine. As Dale Ross going to be taking over the Lit 97 Ford machine, representing Freedom Racing. Of course, the 57 Pepsi car being taken over the rental, operated by Stevie. And Arisnetta, she's yet to be in her car, but we also have a couple other people. Speedits R1. We have not seen Giram. He's been here in practice, but we didn't see him since then. That being said, we're going to do a 10-second countdown. Once that countdown is good, then you can go. You can ignore Eris. Watch the lights. Stay behind the pace car too while you're at it. If someone doesn't go, you can pass them, because this is just qualifying. Yellow's out. Our usual rules have gone on, so just make your way out there onto the racetrack. Just don't pass the pace car, please. We're going to have a little bit of lagging off the line, but it does manage to clear itself out. Again, a large field today. We're going to have a 5-minute long qualifying session. I'll turn up the volume of the cars a little bit to hear them a little bit better. Again, we have plenty of them out there. Our pack lead rules still do stand. I must remind you guys, anyone that does a corner cut during the race will not be racing not only for the rest of this weekend, but not until after SNGP. Severe incidences may lead to suspension of your license, so don't be silly. We have Jake helping us review, and Jake is not going to be nice. He will not give you guys a pass. So don't be that guy. Reminder, the cuts are also strict on this track. Just stay off the anything that's not curb or asphalt and you'll be good. Those curbs are where the, or those cones are where the cuts are. So don't touch them and you won't be in trouble. Now there's a person there. That was not Diller. I'm going to figure out who that is. I have a little bit of time to figure that out. That becomes a person that becomes an issue, then we're about to play Eurobeat for a second. Yeah, I can't find anything. Cannot figure out who that was, that's okay. Our cars are making their rounds through and onto the racetrack. It's going to be a 5-minute long qualifying session. That's only good enough for about 5 laps. Alright, if everyone can slow down to 60 here, Jake speed it up. You're allowed to go full pace. We're going to have you guys go on the preliminary corner. And Mr. Monaco, I guess we'll be watching from them. Make our way onto the preliminary corner. We're going to be quiet here, but watch the lights as we are green. So our cars now making their way out onto the racetrack. They make their way around. You're going to clear the board. I believe everyone has completed a out lap, but if anyone has a suspiciously long lap, we're not going to count that one. That will not be counted as a green flag lap. Mr. Monaco will be leading us off for pack lead. Again, the pack lead rules still do stand as they are. Make their way around the racetrack. Sector 1 here is a very fast, high-speed part of the track, although there's a lot of hard braking points like this one. You see Ace 951 hitting the cones. Again, you guys only have about 3 laps to work with. Any cut, your lap's done, so it might just... My apologies to anyone watching the stream. We had a little bit of a disconnection. Hopefully that doesn't happen during the race, especially not on the final lap. We saw that, of course, last race. We are going to be watching the board. Again, we got only a couple minutes to work with. So far, pack lead is none other than Mr. Monaco, followed right behind by Del Ross. But if we look at the sectors, neither of them are going to have a valid sector. Again, as important as it is to get a good lap in, it matters just as much, if not more, with these 3-lap qualifying to get a lap in. And neither of them will see any fruition come to their efforts, as both of them have invalid laps. Now 2 laps to go here is my calculations when we are making our way down the front stretch. I must say again to you guys, once we are done, you guys have a 1 lap to go, and then you guys will do a cool down. I'd appreciate if you guys did a cool down, because it's going to be a while. Just don't pass any cars that are finishing their sessions up. So we're back to it though. That's a good thing. We're gonna look at the board. We got about a minute and a half left. Again, pack lead is Mr. Monaco, Dale Ross. Gonna ask you guys not to cut. And it looks like Twin is taking the top time, a 2-minute 2:9.75. That's the fastest we've seen so far. This might have been the fastest we've ever seen the ROX Mods go around here. These new cars have a slightly higher top speed. Even though they're a bit slower handling, they do go faster on straights with an extra 100 horsepower. That could be significant on a place like this. Now, hopefully my internet will hold itself together. So again, I must remind you guys, if we are going into the white flag lap, once you guys behind Mr. Monaco cross the start-finish line, we'll be seeing white flag. Bit of lag here. I think that's because of my internet. It's frustrating because we were looking so good, but it's not going to work very well. The white flag coming out, and in the meanwhile, for Mr. Monaco, this means that once you guys cross, you'll be going into your white flag laps. Hopefully all is well. Now, Mr. Monaco second on the board. That last lap, Del Ross third. Nobody's held up to Twin, but Twin with 2 purple sectors. Let's watch them. He's making his way through the track. Around the final turn. Twin Turbo V sits. Around the final turn, that might be a cut. That's looking very close. Cutting the edge. Twin Turbo V sits, making the way across the line. Will they go quick time again? It's an invalid lap, but that would have been rapid. It goes in the final lap to get one last shot to beat it. Mr. Monaco also with one more shot. He's going to have to try hard. He hasn't even reached the first sector yet, so there is still a lot of time. But this is, of course, the last shot on a track this big. It seems like almost everyone is set a valid lap. Leave it for T7 Jake. Speedy SR1. Now first sectors are through for Mr. Monaco. Setting a 108.191. Not the best time, but it might be able to improve. He's got a target on his behind by Dale Ross. Another dark horse today might be Gohan. They've been really good on the road courses in the ROX Mods, but it looks like things have turned a little bit around. They're still with a very solid 4th place starting position. So they could definitely change things around for the better during the race. Mr. Monaco's making his way around into Sector 2. Just a couple more turns through the S's. Now with 3 more turns to go for Mr. Monaco, making his way down one more straightaway. Gets into Sector 2. It's a little bit slower. Dale Ross is looking very fast. Around the final turn, here comes Mr. Monaco. Right behind is Dale Ross. We will be seeing the checker flags come out. Now crossing the start-finish line. It's an improvement for Dale, but not enough to pass. Alright, well the checkers are coming out. So let's watch. 200 sits. Again, checkers are coming out. Please do a cooldown lap. The biggest talking points today. And it looks like Twin's got another invalid lap. No one's going to beat him, though. So it does not matter for him. He's got it. He's got to beat. So let's do a cooldown here, folks. I believe the last person that'll be crossing will probably be Ayers. I do not see anyone ahead. So again, let's not cut. Let's just get on to the finish. So it looks like Speedy XR1 will be the last person to cross the line. So we'll be watching him. Ayers not far ahead. Speedy XR1 does have a chance to improve himself. Might be able to start ahead of Steve Waters. Maybe Mitch. He's got a better lap developed than the two of them. So if he can hold himself together, Ayers also will not set a valid lap. So that'll be it for her. But for Speed XR1, his second sector's looking good. He's got a 46.404. Making his way around the second to last turn. How is Speedy going to do? Looks like he's got a lag spike going on. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. But Speed XR1, making his way across the front stretch, will be crossing the start-finish line with a valid lap. How's his lap time? It's 2:13. Alright. Red is going to be out on the racetrack. You guys going to head into the pit lane in your order. Please turn your cars off once your lineups it is single file. Order is going to be as follows. Twin Turbo V6 in the 32 Asterion Lotus Racing Machine. That'll be our pole sitter for today, 2:02.975. That time is almost 3 seconds fast. It's about 2 seconds, just a bit over 2 seconds faster than second place Mr. Monaco. Dale Ross is going to be in third place. A reminder, if you guys could give each other about a car length of space between your cars, so that when we get going there's less lag. Please don't rush in ARCA brake it, just slow down gradually. A bit more back, Mr. Monaco. Again, one car length of space. One car length of space, guys. Twin Turbo V6, Mr. Monaco. Dale, I want you to be lined up where this car is, and Lewis, you're all the way back and sit. So again, order is Twin, Mr. Monaco, Dale Ross. Gohan is going to be in 4th place, 5th place Ayers Netta. So right about here, right about there. Behind them will be Ayers Netta. Again, not that far up. You want to be one car length behind the car ahead of you, because when we get going there's going to be a lag spike. We want to negate the possibility of this. So the sooner you guys line up, the sooner we can start the anthem, the sooner we can start going. So I need Hachiroku to move back. One car length. East time 5-1, you were in 7th place. We need Ayers. We need you guys in the back to back up a little bit because of Ayers. Ayers is going to be starting. Same with Lewis. So we need to leave space for Ayers. We'll be doing 2 pace laps. Yep. Again, the sooner we line up, the sooner we're in order. You can press Z, or if you're British, Z. Check your order. The sooner we do it, the sooner we get going. Jason is going to be lined up behind Mitch. So, Jason, we need you behind Steve Waters. Please back it up. Speed XR1, back it up. You're all the way in the back. So, again, I want to check the order. So, Twin is in 1st place. 2nd is Mr. Monaco. Reminder to turn your cars off, please, and hop out. That is your sign that you are ready to go to the anthem, and then once you're back in, that's when you're back. So. I'm gonna need you to turn your car off. Or else I'm gonna reset you. Okay, so we have Twin, Mr. Monaco, Dale, Gohan, Harris, Lewis, East 951. East 951, behind East 951 is Mitch. Mitch, I need you to turn your car off. It's not ready. Same with Jason. Line up behind them, press F. You need speed enter 1 to line up behind unless you're retiring. If you want to retire, then this is your opportunity. Good job. Alright. We believe at this point, if you've missed out, then you are late. You've missed your opportunity to come, so. I'm going to delete Guillermo's car last, but I'll be deleting Jake's car first. Guillermo magically joins. I'll let him start from the back, but that's going to be on him. Reminder, we got 2 laps, and for lap cars, if we ever have any lap cars, you guys are only going to get 3 laps to get back. So, we make the most of that time. We're going to try to make these cautions as short as possible. If you screw that up, you're going to go straight to the rear of the field. So, make sure you're staying behind the car ahead of you and not passing until you cross the start-finish line. If you pass them before the start-finish line, then you will be in trouble. Reminder, even if you're allowed to pass someone, you're not allowed to pass through several cars. Even if they are not going, that is how the group is going. And that is how it's going to go. So, you cannot jump through 6 cars. That's for you, East. Alright. That being said, I'll be teleporting Twin back once the anthem is done. It's going to be less than that. We're going to start the anthem. So, if you guys could rise and take off your hats there and look at the back stretch, or back of the front stretch. That is going to be where the United States flag is. It's also followed by the new Utah flag, as well as the Utah Motorsports Park flag. It's a bit hard to see from back here. I know it's a bit of a long track, but we'll be playing the national anthem right now. So again, if you guys could rise and lift off your non-existent hats, it would be greatly appreciated. Drivers, start your engines! As a roaring sympathy of V8s, we are going to wait for all of our drivers to get into their cars. Once they have, we'll be also teleporting Twin back. So once you guys are in your cars, that is your sign that you are ready. We're waiting on Eris and East 951. Once everyone is in, if anyone has to leave and hop out again, you'll get a 60-second countdown. We're going to go regardless. You'll have to start from the back. So, we are waiting on Eris and East 951 out Eris. It's going to be a 15-lap race, 2 pace laps. Again, corner cut limit for today is going to be 20, so make sure you guys are careful about going off track. I will not be resetting laps once you reach lap 0. Or, I will not be resetting cuts once you reach lap 0. There's this inner car, so... Alright. We will be going off with our pace car for a second. Jake, how about you join them once they reach Sector 1? You got a little bit of time, so just ignore the pace car. Watch the car ahead of you go. When the car ahead of you goes, stay behind them. Yellow flag. So please wait for the car ahead of you to go before you go. And stay behind them. So we make our way off. We're going to go at a pace speed, guys. We're going to go from the back to the front of your order. So, in the... I believe that is the 23, operated by Speedy at SR1. That is going to be the back of the field in 10th place. 9th place, the 57 Pepsi machine, operated by Steve Waters. 20 is going to be driven by, is a 20 Toyota DeWalt machine. It's going to be operated by Jason Dady. He is streaming on Twitch. Make sure to give him a check. Jason Dady 202. Or I think it's Jason Awesome Gaming. Mitch is going to take up the 6th place spot, I believe. We're down to 6 cars. The 45 Ford machine. And the East 951 is going to be, I believe actually this is 7th place. This is actually East 951. So that was 8th place. So 7th East 951, 6th place is going to be driven by Lewis. Again, podium in their debut race last week, or 2 weeks ago, at the Show to Speedway. That was a great show by them. A person that's looking to make up for their rough performance, that's Eris Netta in the Advent Tyson machine, the 45, as you can see. She has a brand new engine in her car. I guess needed a couple upgrades since the last race. Has a Honda HSV V8. In the 26th Hachiroku Gohan 131, and the 26th DGS machine. The only JGS car in the field, and a Freedom Racing machine, 97 lit Freedom Racing machine. That is Mega Ford America. That is Del Ross. The American Ferrari number 7. That is your 2nd place driver so far. Our pole sitter is the steering team Lotus 32 machine, driven by Twin W6, our pace car, making the way onto the racetrack. So, we're going to start picking up speed here, guys, because our pace car is going to go as fast as it can. Going to go pretty quick here. That is an AA SC car, setup-wise, so... it is basically the slowest class we have to offer up on these road courses. It's even slower than the stock i4, so it's going to be something pretty easy to hold up to. Just make sure you guys are aware of that. There's some discrepancy, I believe, for position between Eris and Lewis. Rubber banded by a Hachiroku. Control yourself there. Reminder, once we reach about this area next lap, we'll be slowing down to 60. So, we're just trying to go through with a by lap. Let's keep the tire warming a bit low. We're going pretty quick here. You guys tire warm, you might run a spin risk. But we're doing pretty good on pacing. I do appreciate that, guys. Make our way out of the final turn. There's a crossover. Doesn't need to be happening. So that's why we're going to be going 60 next lap. I'm going to wait for a little. We have 1 lap to go until we go green. And some lag spikes. Uh-oh. That might be on my end. It looks like everyone is controlling himself. What is going on with Eris? Needed Eris to pick it up a little bit. As well as, I believe that is Lewis behind. Eris is in the 5th place spot. But we have been doing pretty good on pacing so far. Again, a reminder that we will start to slow it down on the first grandstands that you guys see. When you pass that, that's going to be going 60. We're going to pick up pace a little bit here. That's just a little discrepancy from the hairpins, but it's going to be a pretty interesting race, I'm going to call it. Hachiroku, Gohan, pick it up, please. Stay behind the car ahead of you, but just try not to go too far behind. We've got two very interesting engines in the field, of a Ferrari V12 and a Honda HSV engine. Both of them absolute screamers in this, in the valley of roaring V8s. Maybe one of the best ways to describe this race is the valley of roaring V8s. Up here, just west of Salt Lake City and about 8 miles west of Bonneville Salt Flats, the infamous speedway where top speeds are tested and records are set. I'm not quite sure if we're going to see any records set today, but we are sure we are surely going to be seeing a pretty good show. All right. Once we pass the chicane, I'm going to need you guys to slow down to 60. Jake, you can pick it up. So once we reach here, start slowing down to 60, slowly. Let's get ready to start. Eris, let Hachiroku by. Please not pass car of you until you cross the start-finish line. Gohan, pick it up a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Here. Gohan still. Gohan still. Gohan move up. Gohan move up. Eris back off. We make our way to the preliminary corner. Closing in. Watching for jumps. Hold your pace. Hold your pace. Hold your pace. Green flag. Eris not allowed to pass. Bad start. We'll allow that. Everyone else is good. So here we are. We make our way down the front stretch into turn number 1. There is, in fact, 11 cars in today's field. We're going to clear the racing board. Change all C0. But you guys got 20 to do. If you guys get more than 20, you're going to get a 5-second time penalty. No matter what happens. There's an overtime period that might hurt. It's going to be a very long...
Can you read me real quick?
Do you need me to be muted? Oh.
Oh, read me. You?
Adam, you. Anyways, along we are, side by side, Del Ross, Mr. Monaco, not too far behind from Twin Turbo V6, a massive field, all racing it out with hopes to get something through. Side by side action between Mr. Monaco, Del Ross, so is Eris Netta, and Hachiroku, Gohan 131. Gohan with a great run on the American Ferrari. We got to set the flags to green. That's my bad. The American Ferrari is going to run a little bit off track. Loses the speed. Here we are with a 4-car battle there for the second place spot. Stirring up in the pot off of turn number 1. Here we are into the end of sector 1. Now a very interesting part of the track. We're going to wash this one through the free cam. We want to get a great shot here. Firstly, through the chicane. Now, secondly, through here. And looks like Gohan has made up a bunch of spots. Has made his way up to the second place, or to the third. Board is not accurate. Make sure there's nobody being screwed by the board. I think everyone's okay. Twin Turbo V6 to start to extend their lead, but they only got so much of one. As there's a car. As Twin Turbo V6, I thought we were closing into a lap car. That's not the case. Here we are though on the second lap. Mr. Monaco with a dive down the inside, a crossover move not going to work. Gohan moves on by. As a 3-car battle for the podium spot continues, Aris down the inside trying to clear Mr. Monaco, but he's got the run off of the curb. Now side by side. Three wide for the podium, but it looks like Mr. Monaco will get the best end. Aris Netta, Del Ross, they are fighting hard. Mr. Monaco's going to get a bad exit. That allows Aris Netta to slip on by. Del Ross will end up looking like he's going to have a strike to potentially get that 4th place spot from Mr. Monaco as he takes the inside. Now fighting hard in the rear bumper, the 7 American Ferrari machine. Is Twin a lap down? Yes. We fixed Twin's laps. They are now fixed. My bad. And it looks like Mr. Monaco's still side by side with Dale Ross. Dale got a bit of a rough exit. They went off-roading. A reminder to you guys, again, this is a 20-cut race. You get 20 cuts, you're going to get a 5-second penalty. There might be quite a few people with that. But that's 5 more cuts and there's laps. But you got to be very careful about getting those corner cuts, because it will weigh you down, especially if you get a late race caution. So far the field is pretty tight. Now Aris Netta is not too far behind. Now she started all the way, I believe, in 5th place. But she has climbed up to the podium in the past couple laps. Mr. Monaco 2nd place, Dale starting from 3rd. They've been focused more on each other, I believe, than what's been going on ahead. Aris Netta closing in on Gohan little by little. Exit by exit. It's all that's going to matter here. You want to stay as clean as possible. Again, staying on track is a good way to do it. The cones are about where the cuts are, so as long as you don't extend onto them, you should be okay. But Aris is going to go wide here, gets a bit of a rough exit. There goes her efforts. Meanwhile, could that be something going up for the lead? I could hear Twin getting closed in upon by Gohan. I think that gap is closed down to just a bit under a second. Gohan's got twice the amount of cuts of laps. Now 5 cuts out of 2 laps we've ran. You only got about 5 laps of leeway from the amount of laps you got, so it's going to be a tough race. Now make our way into the preliminary corner. We're going to watch that gap. It looks like it's pretty close. We might be seeing a lead battle. Now look at the battle going on in the back. Something going on for, I believe, 4th place. We'll watch that one, but first the gap has gone down to about a second. But we're going to watch what's going on between Del Ross and Mr. Monaco. Again, these two were pretty close together in qualifying. They've fallen a little bit behind today in today's race. That could change. It all depends on how they can hold up to each other. The Ferrari attacking the Freedom Racing machine. I guess in a lot of ways you could describe this battle as Ford versus Ferrari. It's the best way to put it. Though these two off track tend to be pretty good friends with each other. But here's Mr. Monaco down the inside, side by side. There's that battle. That was a great looking exit there for Mr. Monaco. It will be climbing up a little bit ahead from Del Ross, but Del Ross is still battling hard. He's looking down the inside, crossing over. Mr. Monaco dives back outside, crossing over. Which way to go, I'm not sure. But it seems to have worked very well for them. They extended their gap to about 2, maybe 3 car lengths. Again, this is a very high-speed part of the track that's expected. We now close into the breaking point. Here is Del Ross. I believe you can start to see the leaders closing in on each other once again, with a potential battle for the lead going on. East 951 under the attack by Lewis again, putting from just the last race we had. It's a bit of a tougher race with the larger field. Also a road course, the first road course. Mr. Monaco starting to climb a bit of a gap ahead of Del Ross. If he makes any mistakes, that could turn things around. This is a very slow part of the track. This might be a place for Del Ross to attack him. It's not going to work. Schumacher went to the straight. Meanwhile, looks like Gohan has extended their gap. Or they've lost a bit of what they were gaining there. They've now dropped about maybe 50 hundredths, so not much. They're not losing a lot of time. And easily, if they get a better lap, they'll be climbing back up. I think the main battle for today is going to be between Del Ross and the American Ferrari, but we are going to be watching that battle in the back in a little bit. Let's see what's going on between East 951 and the 99 machine. They're about pretty evenly spaced out too. No major battle going on between these two, although it could change through the Sunkist corner. That was a great exit by East 951, showing the rookie what he's got.
Speedy, just a heads up. The leaders are a couple corners behind you. If you go a lap down, that will be your race.
He's got 2 laps to go down.
2 laps?
Yeah.
Okay. But you might want to pick up the pace. And also watch your cuts. You're about halfway there. Same with you, Gohan. And Mitch.
Yeah, guys, again, a reminder that the corner cut limit for today is going to be 20 cuts. You're going to want to focus on staying on track where you can. East 951 under attack by the 99. He's going to fight back, gets back into the position you want it to be, 6th place. He'll be looking to go higher if it can. Del Ross and the Ferrari also closing in on each other once again. It looks like Del might have a good run. We'll be seeing that. We're going to go back to the action up there in 6th place. A battle for 4th also going on. That was a bit of a loosey-goosey moment there for Lewis. We're using our sound to hear where's Mr. Monaco, where is Del Ross. Both about half a second. That's going to matter a lot. East 951 now crossing the line. He'll cross in 6th place. Has a bit of a better gap. How's Del going to handle the 7 machine? This is going to be my question. It's been a great race. It's been a bit of a miss for me to miss road course racing. I haven't seen anything for about a month. When we went to Northwest Ohio, we've been out of road course racing for a little bit of a while. Doesn't feel that very long, but it's been a bit of a while. We'll be doing it back next week in a doubleheader at Track Loans. East 951 is still under attack by the 99. Again, for them to hold up as well as they are, this is their 2nd race. They don't even know what SNGP is and what they're going to go into, but it's going to be a hell of an event. We will actually be doing the class announcement tomorrow evening, I believe, at 5 or 6 p.m. USPST. We'll be announcing that tomorrow, so don't you worry. We're going to get all the classes, although if I could hint, there's a good chance we'll be having a partnership with RTC. They're not going to be using the NARA cars due to recent controversy. But we'll also probably be seeing the British touring cars that Shofa brought along back, and a lot of other big things. So stay in to be tuned in for that one. It's going to be a great announcement. I think that might be Speedy up ahead. So Speedy has fallen a lap down. And as for cuts, you got 2 more to go till you're in a lot of trouble. Same thing for Gohan. I must remind you, we got a 20 cut limit. You're at 14, so you got 6 more to go. So you might want to watch yourself. I hear a wah from Speedy as he's getting past now. by East 951. Also, Lewis makes their way by. So leaders made a pretty darn good gap here. East Twin WV6 has been pretty much dominating the whole time. On the next lap, we'll be seeing the cross flags wave. So don't you guys worry, we'll be seeing the halfway point in just a bit. That screaming HSV is something else, man. You could hear that thing. I was worried it might not be loud enough, but it certainly is. And you might be wondering, well, what do you mean by not loud enough? Well, as a driver, you want to be able to hear your own engine. If you're behind people or in front of them, you might be able to hear their engine, and it might be disrupted. Now, her engine sounds plenty loud, so I'm sure she has no issue whatsoever. Now, one thing I've also noticed, hers has been incredibly clean today, and it's paid off. Again, she started all the way in 5th place, has made her way up to 3rd, and might be in for a very solid podium. It does not look like Mr. Monaco or Dale are going to be in any space of attack, as long as we stay caution-free as it is. Well, yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty good race here, and pretty photo-esque. I mean, you could just see Desert Valley, you know, just south of Salt Lake City. I mean, just south of the Great Salt Lake and west of the Salt Lake City. So, for those that like desert terrain, this has been a pretty beautiful-looking track. I know it's a little bit barren, but I mean, that's how it's like in real life. Now, Twin is crossed. They've made in for the crosswalks. We are now halfway done with the race, folks. I must remind you guys, if you guys could do a cooldown lap, it would be greatly appreciated, because we are also going to do a podium. We have a podium that will be set up on the front stretch. We got all 3 trophies ready. If you guys look carefully off of the main marshal stand, you will see 3 trophies. So, just something to note. Mr. Monaco and Del Ross are going back at it. They've closed down that gap to about a second, although it might be shrinking a bit. All depends if they make any major mistakes. As for cuts, though, the first person I am going to say has a penalty. Speedy hits are 1s. In the 23 machine, you're going to have 5 seconds added to you after this race is done. I don't know if it's going to matter a whole lot, but if we do have a late race restart, you'll be able to get your lap back too. So that's the first one. Again, another driver at risk. The next closest one is Gohan. You only have about 4 seconds here, or 4 more cuts, and you are within range of Eris. So if you do get a cut, you are at risk of Eris passing you. So, just something to know. I need to oil up my chair. It's pretty squeaky. East 951 is still holding off from Lewis. Most certainly the biggest battle going on, as here's Lewis with a good run on the 951. Now down to only about 2 or 3 car lengths. They keep it up, they will probably be in range to make a pass. East 951 has gotten a better exit than Lewis did. Lewis, I believe, comes from a road course background to some extent, so this track is not exactly out of their territory, and it does show they've, for first race, has shown some pretty good performance. Again, Gohan, you are 3 cuts away from a time penalty. Don't be the guy that does it. We are closing in to 5 laps to go, though we still got to cross about 6 more times to get to that point. So, let's see where Twin has gone to. What has done is it's gapped about 4 seconds, so complete confidence for Twin. And it is his usual fashion. Again, Twin is a very good driver. We saw him get outdriven at Milwaukee about, I think it was 4 weeks ago. Although it looks like, well, that might be a lag spike, but it almost looked like might have fallen back a bit from something. We'll see, though. Yeah, that gap does not look big at all. So I think Twin has made some mistake off screen. Maybe got a little bit loose because he's getting close in quite heavily. You can see Jason now overlapping his teammate in the background. Zares goes off track. So we are closing in on the race. This is a 15-lap race. It's over 30 minutes. It's actually one of the longest races we got on the schedule. But it probably doesn't feel that way. As a host, it really doesn't feel that way. Maybe for you guys, it might or might not. We'll be asking after the race is done. And that is true. So, Gohan, we got a warning for you. You now have 5 seconds added to the end of the race. Hate to say it to a GGS driver, however, to be transparent, I have to do so. Because I'm a good host. So, Gohan, unfortunately, you're going to have 5 seconds to build up if you want to keep the win or second place. Eris is about 5 seconds behind you, but she could catch up. She's only got a couple cuts there. You might be seeing a fuck it mentality, however, coming from Gohan as he is closing in for the lead. Just now, if he can make up 5 seconds, as long as he doesn't blatantly cut, he will be scored as a winner. That might put a little bit of stress off of him. But he is cutting a lot, and we only have about 6 laps left. We're actually only about 5.5. We've made our way through the first sector already. Yeah, so the biggest battle going on is the one currently for the lead, I believe, though Lewis and East 951 have been going at it. However, for the lead, as far as positions technically go, we are seeing Rebel and Gohan operating Rebel's machine, closing in turn by turn to Twin W6. We might be seeing a half-second gap between the two by the end of the lap, so we're going to see a 5 lap to go once we cross the line. So this time by, guys, you got 5 to go. We are in the last third of the race. Next closest to a penalty, that is going to be technically Mitch, although Speedy, you're close to another one. Again, if you get 60 cuts, your day is gonna be done. So don't be that guy if you can. Yeah, it definitely looks like Gohan's closing in the gap with Twin Turbo V6 little by little. A frustrating situation because he's got Twin's only got about 7 cuts, so he's got 13 to work with before he gets any risk of a penalty, so he doesn't really have to worry about much. However, Gohan just has to push his way through and hope they could get ahead. He might be lucky to hold up ahead of Arisneta. I haven't seen any major cuts by him either, so it's not really like he's been... Yeah, we're doing penalties for 40, that's another 5 second. So speed hits are 1, you're going to have a 10-second penalty. Both your 5-second penalties have been combined, so you got 10 seconds will be added to you post-race. You're also being closed in by the leaders, so if you do get past this time, that will unfortunately be your day, so just something to note. So speed hits are 1. Looks like his day might just be about over. It's not quite over yet, but it's looking quite bleak for the 23 machine. His teammate Jason Dady's holding up a 9th place ahead of Steve Waters. Now, Speedy's not quite out of competition yet. However, the leaders are racing right behind him. And they make the pass. So, Speedy, if you could pull it in. Your day is done. So it's unfortunate for the 23 machine, however he's fallen too many laps down, so that'll be his day. Speedy at R1 is going to send it into the barrier, most likely in a fit of rage. Tough day for the 23 machine. Hopefully we'll see things change around at track loans. Alright, Jake, if you could watch Speedy at R1 to make sure that he can pull off at a reasonable time. Harris is pushed up to only about 2 seconds, so a late race push by the 45 as she is on 5 cuts. So she's really clean, actually. So she's been pushing not out of being cheeky, or rather just out of being clean and fast. That might allow her to, by default, pass Gohan, at least as things stand currently. Gohan will still enjoy a top 3 and a 25 Robux after the year is done, and I get all the payouts figured out. So closing now to 3 laps to go. Speedy's making his way slowly through. Trying to watch the battle going on there. The biggest one currently is probably... There's a second gap between... Yeah, so we're going to be watching one at the front. The one at the front is the closest one we've got. It looks like Steve Waters might be at risk too to fall 1 lap down. So he's still on the lead lap, so he is going to be able to finish a race if he does fall a lap down, but that's going to put him in a bit of a bleak situation if he gets passed again. And that does happen, so looks like the 57 does get put 1 lap down. It's been a valiant effort by Speed at R1, however, it looks like today's been a bit of a frustrating one for him. If you could pull it into the pit lane here, it'd be appreciated. I mean, I guess by cuts, Speed's race is done anyways, so Speed, if you could pull it off. Be reasonable. Thank you. Speedy, in fact, has pulled it off. We see Eris closing in on the 57. We now have 3 laps to go. So time is running out. Dale's got 3 cuts till he gets a penalty. Gohan sits until he gets another one, and that will put him into 10 seconds, although wouldn't matter too much for him at that point. Let's see how the other cuts are looking. So we got 5 for Mr. Monaco, 3 for Dale, 2 for Mitch. I believe Mitch is good for the current time being, because I think he's got a pretty good gap ahead of Jason. So it would not be the end of the world. That's an unfortunate situation, though, for the 26 machine. And Speedy, I believe, has retired. Again, was black flagged for falling too many laps down. So we now have 2 laps to go. 5 cuts for Gohan. Twitter V6 is still dominating the race in a pretty great fashion, I will say. The 32 has shown himself to be unstoppable. If that stays that way, though, if there is no caution this lap, that's good. So, this is the last opportunity for us to go into overtime. I don't think anyone wants that. I think everyone is quite preferable for this race to finish up as soon as it can. Of course, we were with 2 laps to go. It looks like Garrus is closing in really closely to Gohan. Might be able to make a legitimate pass and not just be passing them by default. That's how we want things to work, although it's not how things always tend to work. East 951 has done a great job holding off Lewis, although Lewis, you are 4 cuts from a penalty, so just watch yourself. Been a great race though. Even though Twin's been dominant, it's not been by a lot. Everyone else has been right behind him. As there's Jason now about to fall a lap down, and he still will finish the race in 9th ahead of Steve Waters. So he will be scoring some points out of the day. As this time by, we'll be seeing the white flag. So that being said, this time by, the white flag is in the air for Twin Turbo V6. We have 1 more lap to go. And there's Gohan closing in. We wish this was a legitimate one. However, Twin Turbo V6, as it stands, pretty much just needs to finish this race and he'll be good. He's got 10 cuts here. It's tied with Ayers. Ayers is so far the biggest threat, I think. Even though you can see that 26 machine right behind. He's going to have to do a lot if he wants to get a 5-second gap with the leader. So, Twin is now making his way and into the Sunkissed corner, out of it. I believe that was actually the Tratzis corner. There's a very big track, a lot of corners, a lot of different names. This one up here is a pretty particular name, and it does reflect the difficulty of it. Gotcha's the name of this one. That 32 is right behind, but so is Arisneta. Arisneta has been the closest she has been to Twin all race. But it's going to have to take a big mistake out of Twin for anything to go differently. I don't know if that's going to happen. Gohan closing in on for the technical lead. So we now make our way into the last couple set of turns. Twin Turbo V6, he's done a great race. He's held together. He's held domination. He's done a great one. He makes his way out of the final turn. Gohan peeking behind, but it's not going to work. Twin Turbo V6 coming across the front stretch will win at Utah Motorsports Campus. And Neris will technically cross in second by default. Gohan will still keep home the podium. If you guys could do a cooldown lap, Jason will cross in 9th place ahead of Steve Waters. We're going to be watching from the podium, see any battles that are going on. There's one there. It's actually Mr. Monaco in the American Ferrari. Making some swirls down the front stretch. We'll cross in 4th place. There's Steve Waters in 10th. Dale Ross is going to cross in 5th place. So we've got a couple more cars to come through. East 951, one of them. Got a little bit of a battle here for position. He's going to have to do good on this last corner. No mistakes made, and he does not make any. We're going to check the board, though, just to make sure. So please. So, any penalties? No, there's no penalties, so that means East 951 will stay ahead of Lewis. A great job by everyone to hold up together. Now, there's only a couple of cars left. I think there's only Mitch. I think Mitch is the last car that'll be crossing. So, once you guys are done, if I'm going to head into the pit lane, the leaders to the front stretch. And here is Mitch, the last car in the race. He's making his way through. We will be playing national anthems also for the podium, so just be aware of that. So here is making our way around the last set of corners, around the final turn. Mitch making his way to finish the race. And I believe that is it out of our finishers. I'm going to take a screenshot of those results. Again, Speed HR1 is a 1 DNF. Our order is, however, as follows. The guys could get to the front stretch. Actually, we're gonna put this a bit of, yeah, we'll put this like right here. Eris, watch it. Alright, if we have Eris line up second place, Gohan to third, and our race winner, Twin Turbo V6, to line up in first, have our trophies. I'm actually going to turn these around. Let's not drive through the trophies, please. Alright. We'll be past... watch it, Eris. I'm going to be rotating this. Alright. And our third place, if we could get Gohan. If we could please get Gohan to the front stretch. It's on the front stretch, start-finish line. One of those. We do, in fact, have trophies, so yeah, just head up over there. East 951 has got a word about it, but no. No, East. No. Alright, Gohan, if we could have you move up to here. We're gonna pass you guys your drinks. Your fizzy water. Let me just get to it. Alright. Gohan, if you could move up here. Alright. We will be playing the Canadian anthem, then we will be playing Carmen Overture. Alright, can we please stop the burnouts? We're gonna get to the give me a second here. I can't find the F1 theme. Give me a second, and we're gonna do a soundboard. It'll be 45 seconds, I'm very sorry. But once we do that, we'll get straight to the interviews. I'm very sorry. Give me a second. All right, we're not doing 9/11 jokes. All right, very sorry about that. We're gonna get straight to the Canadian anthem if you guys want to stick around. We will interview everyone that sticks around. So, we will get to the podium right now. Thank you for your patience. Do not crash on the front stretch. Crash on the front stretch. You're not racing SNGP. Who's there in the plane? All right, no more flying planes, guys. Come on. All right. Music time. Tail on ban you once this is done. Alright guys, well you know what time it is. It is now then. Yep. It's been a pretty interesting race. We got more coming up tomorrow. Make sure to show up for the class announcement tomorrow at 10 a.m. USPST. We'll be off to the mid-car feature. It's going to be a 10-lap race, and we're going to be doing GTI 12, probably 5 to 6. We'll be doing the... I didn't even get the podium photo, I think that's okay. We'll be doing the next one. We're doing GTI at 12 for a 20-lap race, and then we will be going tomorrow on Sunday at 12 p.m. with the Formula Micros for another 10-lap race, and then the Super Indies for 30 laps. What a joy that one's going to be. Cars run out after about 8 laps, so that's going to be a 3-stop race. Oy, oy, oy. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. It's been a good show. We're going to now move on to our interviews, though, because we do have people to interview. Quite a few, actually. So starting off, we're going to ban Dale also. So Dale's been unbanned, I believe. If he's not, then let me know. Alright, anyways, Twin Triple V6 has stayed out of the VC. He's not in the VC, so I guess we're going to move on to Technical Secondaris Netta here. Held together a very clean race, and it looks like it's paid off. Coming home with a 2nd place score. Alright. Also coming home with quick time. That's going to allow you 19 points. A really good points race today. I think that might put you up ahead, potentially to challenge Giram, especially over these lacking races. We saw him in practice. We did not see him in qualifying or the race. And it's nice to see Feller there too. Oh my God. I didn't do shit to it. That's something we all hope. Yep. All right. Well, that was a great race by Eris. Now held up to a solid podium. We'll be talking to third place again. Cross second. Had a very solid race. Had everything in for it. Almost close into twin at the very end. Had it not been for that penalty, things might have been a little bit different. But what do you guys say about that, Gilhan? That's still a good race.
I started collecting cuts. I was collecting cuts on fucking understeer mode, so that was pretty annoying. So then, yeah, bro, that's really why I got a really nice 40 probably about cuts out of everybody. That understeer, bro, holy shit, I never driven anything like that before. It's that it seems to be on the throttle. It's a little bit too early. You're ready to go straight off fucking track. Yeah, you're not even gonna get white cut if you go off track. You're like 5, dude. I don't know what that was about. I just gotta keep practicing on understeer cars. When I was on the other drive, I was doing oversteer JCOLMT cars. This completely. I might take some time. I might get back on this map. Maybe like in a couple hours. Maybe start practicing some more. Because I definitely gotta
Well, the next class coming up is going to be the Mitts cars tomorrow at 10 a.m. I don't know if you're feeling it or not. You got a good history with them. Do you think you got what it takes to do well in that race?
I've definitely gotten more used to ROX, but if I can try this again, I'll just see how it
All right. Well, that's great to hear. Enjoy the trophy. Hopefully, we can get a golden one today, or I mean, this weekend. But overall, great performance. Hopefully, how do you think SNGP is going to do? 2 races coming up in Oval and the road course. That's also coming up, but that's a whole extravaganza. There's like 16 races that weekend, so. Wait.
The only thing that was really on my mind was the historical.
All right. Well, it's going to be a doubleheader in the ROX Mods, so one of the road course, one of the oval. So we'll see. We'll see.
I think another thing too is that this map is like way more complicated than Milwaukee. This map is way longer. So it's damn near.
You got right turns. You got right turns.
Yeah, this shit's endurance. Milwaukee was like way shorter. It was way easier to find that line than the down. That's how they were outside twin. Because I'm way better on the short tracks. I was thinking, that race. I was like, well, damn, this is like the complete opposite of what I'm good at. This is the complete opposite. This shit it's 2 minutes long per lap, and then it was a 30-minute race. So it was like completely different what I'm the best at. I'm really good at short tracks, but this is it was a test. It was one hell of a test. Like even on a track that does not suit my preferences at all, I was able to catch twin like four times and capitalize on it because I need to still get more experience under my belt. But I think right now I'm doing pretty good here for a 42 car. But yeah.
All right. Well, that's great to hear, Gilhan. Again, we'll cook you up a new car for the next weekend. Just tell me what you want in it, and we'll get it. I'm still gonna make you one. Don't worry. You do good. Yeah, we'll cook. You got a damn podium in a 10-car race. Actually, 11. So
It was like 14.
it felt like it, but no, it was 11. Still, felt like a lot of fucking ass cars.
Dude, it's starting to seem like ROX is more popular. Is that just me?
It always,
It seems-
kind of always has been. So yeah,
I'm just new, so shit.
yeah. All right, well that's great to hear, Gohan. I believe that's probably everything you have to say, unless you got something else. All right, well, there, Gohan. We're gonna talk. I think the car in fourth place, that was Mr. Monaco. So we're not gonna keep you waiting any longer. Thank you for your patience. I know it's fucking late in the morning or early in the morning, so I know you want to get your sleep where you can. A great battle between you and Dale Ross throughout the day. I know the best way to describe it is Ford versus Ferrari. How do you think the American Ferrari held up?
Well, yeah, it was really close and fun in the start, but then I started pulling a gap more and more. I don't know what happened with each other. But yeah, it was really fun. At lap one, I really thought I could follow Dale, but I just don't have the pace. Oh, not Dale, but Queen.
Did manage to start second and then fall a little bit back there. So what was happening? Did the track feel a little bit unfamiliar, or do you think that there were some people sandbagging in qualifying?
Not really sandbagging. I just don't have the pace of the ROX Mods. It's the first time on this track, I really
All right. Well, hopefully things could turn around. I know you don't like to race the mids cars. Hopefully things could turn around in the GTIs. We pray your internet works. We'll see. Looks like it held up well today. That's good. Looks like it. I haven't seen a single issue from you today. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. All right. Is there anything else you want to say?
really excited for the next week
Of course. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. Thank you there, Mr. Monica. We are going to move on to P5 finisher Dale Ross. A solid battle between you and Mr. Monaco, unfortunately falling a little bit short at the end. But I feel like, given you stayed for an interview, you had a bit of a blast. Maybe a little bit extra after the race.
I was definitely my American heritage. Knock it down again. That topic.
Okay. How was today's race? It was in the air. Jesus. Fifth and sixth. Yeah. Mid. Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. Next week, we got one that might be up in your mind. One you've been itching for years. That is SNGP. You gotta give it another shot. Friday. Yeah. Okay. If you have the time to. Yeah, I know. If you have the time to, hopefully we'll see you there, and hopefully you could change things around. I know that is your track that you've always been itching to win at out of any of these for the longest time. So we'll see. All right. I think there. I was about to say your name, Crucian. Okay. Okay.
I'll give him the full number.
Oh God. Well, anyways, it was a pretty good race. Is there anything else you want to say? Thank you, Joe. Alright, well, next down the row, we're gonna see if it's between Jason or... Yeah, it is, Jason. So, we did actually get a comment from a couple other people, so we had, Lewis did say something. I'm not going to review, but I'm going to say this. It felt really slow because the car sucked. I felt like I meant to drive in a MasterCard Lola, for fuck's sake. But I mean, I tried my best, and that's all that matters. Had a good race up to the East 951. That's all I got to say. So, we're going to talk to Jason. Again, thank you for your patience, Jason. Finishing P9 today. We'll be finishing up ahead of your teammate and Steve Waters. What do you guys say about today's race? Or the track?
Well, most of the boards for camping that overall is not too bad on not too bad, but hopefully I should get
Sure thing, Jason. How's the track? Smooth. Any other races you looking to get on to doing this weekend, or what are your hopes for SNGP? You can do both if you want. That's my questions for you. Hopefully this time things can run a little bit better. I think you've had a little bit of bad luck both runnings. Maybe this time on the road course things could turn around. All right, well, thank you there, Jason. Say anything else? Oh.
I hope Speedy would give me a better setup for my car. Like maybe one on the oval and the low course for the
We'll see. We might be trying to cook a setup for SNGP that works. It's been a hard track to work with, so we'll see. Thank you there, Jason. We got one more car to talk with, one more finisher. That is 10th place. Turbo the Protogen Steve Waters, otherwise known as. Finishing up to 10th place. I think this is just another one of those experience races. I think one of your first times out on a road course. So good job on finishing at least. That's all I gotta say, really. Did outlast Speedy. That's a significant thing to also say. Overall, how's the track, and how are you doing, man?
Well, the road course was actually a pretty good track. I actually appreciated the opportunity to race ROX Mods on there. Second of all the last night at the monster truck and I took out Burger King sign obviously, but in case y'all haven't seen that. But other than that, yeah, and then there was a Berlin earlier, which yeah, I'm finishing strong. I can tell you that. But yeah, overall, I did what I did tonight, and yeah, 2 nights in a row.
Hopefully we can see great performance coming up. If you're showing up to any of the other races this weekend, we got Mid's car tomorrow, GTI. That's GT3 cars and Mazda Miata racing. You interested in any of those?
Probably mostly interested in the oval part of the section of it, but I'll see if I can try doing the midgets.
Okay, well, that's coming up next week at SNGP. That's gonna be the biggest race of the year, if you didn't realize. So a lot of action coming up for that one. You think you got any plans for next week?
Awestruck, Snapper, that's about it.
All right,
Mainly.
that's fair. Hopefully you can turn out for SNGP. Have a good show. It's gonna be a lot of racing on Friday. I mean, a lot of racing on Friday. The midgets are gonna be running on Thursday, by the way. So, that being said, yeah.
Message me at the exact moment you have a ROX mod with the ready set up at the local.
They'll probably be ready midweek, so I'll let you know.
Still message me at the exact moment you have
Okie dokie. Anyway, all right. So that being said, I think that clears out our reviews. You got anything else you want to say before we clear out? Anyone?
Burger King, if you're in on this, I'll actually pay for your sign from last night.
Just extra media for them. That being said, thank you guys. Is Speedy around? He's not in the VC, so yeah. So I interview people and they stick around. East 951's not here, so he's in the other VC, but I don't think he wants interviews, so I'll let him be. So that being said, thank you guys for tuning out today and showing up to a race. It's been greatly appreciated. I know that might have been a bit frustrating for some of those in the back. It's just how these races go. They can be very frustrating, but looked like everyone had a pretty good time overall, though, and I'm glad to hear that. There's been a lot of work to get this track ready for this week. Hopefully we could try to... Hopefully you guys could at least have an idea of how the cuts are going to be in the future races. And maybe there will be a shot of pudding for some of you. That being said, again, I want to tell you guys the schedule for tomorrow. We're going to be doing Mitt's Kart at 10 a.m. It looks like my internet went out for a bit there. Thankfully happened now. Anyways, on to the schedule. 10 a.m. USPST for the Mitt's Cars 10-lap race. 12 p.m. USPST tomorrow for the GTI series. That's going to be a 20-lap race, twice the distance of the Mitt's Cars. Going to be an interesting one, I think, to say the least. The Super Indies will be racing on Sunday, but we'll get to that one in a second, because there's also going to be the Spooky Night Grand Prix class announcement. Don't miss out that one. There will be go-karts, rental karts to drive in the meanwhile as the announcement is happening. We will be doing an unveiling, of course, like we did for the Patriot Grand Prix, so hopefully we'll see you guys there. That's going to be at 5 p.m. USPST or 6 p.m. Just wait for the announcement tomorrow. We'll figure that out with the people that turn out. That being said, Sunday schedule, we're going to be doing the Formula Micros. They got another new setup. It's a bit of a combination of everything we've been working for, and I think, in my personal opinion, it's probably the best setup we've gotten on the 1.5 cars so far. A lot of work's been put onto them. I think we got them to drive as close as possible to the old cars. That doesn't guarantee anything, but they no longer are excessively drifty. They're just about right. So give those ones a try. Again, tomorrow at 12 p.m. USPST to race the Formula Micros. On Sunday at that time. They're going to be doing a 10-lap race. And then at 2 p.m. on Sunday, we'll be closing off the weekend with a 30-lap Super Indy race. That's going to be the highlight, I think, of all of it. We hope to see you guys there. Finally, some pretty big races coming up next week. Hopefully we'll see you guys at the Spooky Night Grand Prix when that comes around. The ROX Mods, as we all know, does a doubleheader. We start with the road course on Friday. We start with the oval on Friday at 7 p.m. USPST, imagine. I'm fumbling my words right now, and I am sincerely sorry. The road course will be on Saturday next week, 7 p.m. also. It's going to be a pretty good show. Reminder, we'll be having a time change for Spooky Night Grand Prix, so We're gonna have to figure out that part. It's gonna be a bit annoying, but once it's figured out, it's figured out. Also, the midgets will be the first SNGP feature. That'll be on the oval, and that will be Thursday night. Might be Thursday afternoon though, because of you know, the fact that it's on Halloween. So we'll see. Thank you guys for turning out though. It's been a great time, and we'll see you guys later. For the ad.